Royal alert. Princess Leonor marries Christian, King Felipe and Queen Letizia in tears. A palace announcement was expected. But tears from King Felipe and Queen Letizia. Unthinkable. Tonight, Princess Leonor marries Christian, and the royal parents wept. Tonight, the world watches in awe and astonishment. In a ceremony few imagined until the very moment it unfolded, Princess Leonor of Spain and Prince Christian of Denmark have exchanged vows. What the public sees are gowns, crowns, and ritual. What no one captured, until now, is the moment King Felipe and Queen Letizia sobbed openly as their daughter stepped into her future. From the palace corridors to stunned citizens in city squares, this wedding has shifted narratives. But the heart of this story lies not in the spectacle, it lies in those tears. The tears of parents letting go, of pride mingled with fear, of tradition yielding to love. To understand those tears, we must walk through every heartbeat of this union, from a quiet decision made in secret rooms to a public confirmation that is already reshaping the Spanish monarchy. Minutes before the ceremony, in the grand hall behind closed doors, King Felipe sat at the edge of his seat. His jaw clenched, his fingers trembled. Queen Letizia, elegant and composed for the world, collapsed into her daughter's arms behind closed doors, her voice breaking. They wept, not for scandal, not for regret, but for the weight of legacy, of letting go, of witnessing their daughter embody something far greater than the role they once held. When Leonor appeared, resplendent in her gown, she paused. She looked at both her parents. He, rigid in control. She, full of soft resolve. She reached out. He took her hand. The tears fell. The crown felt heavy. And in that moment, something changed, not just for their family, but for all of Spain. The guards outside heard muffled sobs. The chapel doors opened. The world leaned in. Leonor was born with the weight of expectation. The cameras, the speeches, the perfect posture. But as she grew, she transformed expectation into aspiration. She studied law, diplomacy, assumed public roles, and trained in the military. Every step preordained, every moment observed. Yet beneath that carefully constructed path, Christian entered. A prince with his own legacy, his own pressures, his own life mapped by tradition. Their meeting was a whisper, a diplomatic event, a shared itinerary, a chance encounter. But whispers breathe, and in their case, whispers became a private conversation. That conversation became a bond. That bond became love. For years, they navigated in shadows. Private flights, coded messages, diplomatic cover stories, glances captured by distant lenses, dinners at embassies with obscure guest lists. Yet the palace kept denial. The press speculated. The public wondered. Through it all, Leonor remained poised, Christian courteous, and the rumor mill relentless. Till now, to marry a foreign prince is not simple. Does Christian gain a Spanish title? Does he assume duties? Does the public accept a consort born outside Spain? Does the Constitution allow it? These questions hounded every palace advisor. The risk, political backlash. Traditionalists said it would undermine national identity. Conservatives warned of constitutional crises. Monarchists worried about public approval. So the wedding was planned in quiet. Permits, religious approval, guest lists, security, logistics, all handled in strictest discretion. The confirmation came only when every detail was secure, every legal hurdle cleared, and the hearts finally ready. They chose to confirm publicly after the ceremony, so Spain would not see a staged build-up, but a fulfilled reality. The shock would come only when the vows were done, not in weeks of speculation. And thus today's statement: yes, they are married. The venue, a historic cathedral in Oviedo, sacred hall steeped in Spanish royal memory. The public won't see the interior. But witnesses say candles flickered, ancient stone arches resonated with hymns, and floral arrangements honored both Spanish and Danish heritage. Leonor's dress, ivory silk, elegantly simple, with a subtle trim of Danish lace. No heavy jewels, no overpowering tiara. A sash of red and gold, inherited from Queen Letizia's own wedding ensemble. Her veil, hand-woven by Spanish artisans, threads from her home region. Christian entered in black formal attire, with a Danish royal emblem on his chest, but no Spanish military regalia. The balance was deliberate. Respect tradition, but hold space for something new. The priest spoke softly. The vows, written personally, were intimate. Leonor promised to lead with heart, even in the storm. Christian pledged to protect, understand, and stand by her, regardless of crown or criticism. After, "I do," Leonor's gaze flickered. She looked at her parents. Her lips trembled. Queen Letizia, seated among few family members, covered her mouth. King Felipe, stoic until then, bowed his head. Then the tears. Quiet at first, then more openly. Their daughter's dream, and hers alone, was real now. Public emotion in royalty is rare. But tears are honest. In that chapel, Letizia and Felipe were not monarch and queen. They were mother and father. They felt pride, relief, fear, loss. They wept because they had known the burden Leonor would carry, every image, every word, every expectation. They wept because they knew she would marry not for alliance, but for love, and love is never safe. They wept because they realized the crown she inherits will now carry more than lineage, it must carry legend. And they wept because letting go is heartbreak wrapped in hope. Across Spain, across media, the reaction has been thunderous. Editorials praise a new age of monarchy, critics caution of risk. In Madrid, monarchist rallies. In Oviedo, townspeople gather to honor their native daughter. In Copenhagen, people line the streets, Danish flags waving in solidarity. In royal circles, whispers, will Christian receive a Spanish title? Will their children inherit dual rights? Will Spain's constitution need rewriting? Diplomats and scholars are already discussing royal modernization. Some say this union might inspire constitutional reform across Europe. Inside the palace, sources say Letizia whispered to close confidants, "We raised her to lead." And Felipe, he has convened his advisors, legal teams, foreign ministries. He sees the union both as personal triumph and political turning point. In the coming days, a formal joint address is expected. Perhaps a public appearance. A reception in Madrid and Copenhagen. Photo sessions. Blessings from religious leaders. Negotiations about Christian's role. Dialogue about titles. And, always, media scrutiny. Leonor's first acts as a married royal will be telling. How she balances representation, diplomacy, and personal life will define not just her reign, but a generational shift in monarchy. Christian's path is less clear. Whether he accepts a ceremonial Spanish title, or remains in the background, will reflect the flexibility or rigidity of modern monarchy. This wedding is not about crowns. It is about people. Two young individuals with immense pressure chose love. They refused to wait for permission. They acted when their hearts aligned with purpose. Leonor married not as a princess waiting, but as a woman deciding. Christian didn't step in as consort by demand, he stepped in as believer by choice. Her parents wept because this was no ordinary wedding. It was the turning point for a country, a dynasty, a future that dared to begin differently. Tonight, the kingdom watches. The world watches. But in the echoes of those tears, the message is clear. Royalty can feel. Duty can soften. Love can conquer. And a queen who marries for her own heart may hold the most powerful crown yet. King Felipe cried. Queen Letizia wept. Because they saw history, and they saw a daughter stepping into her own light, not as legacy, but as living truth. Princess Leonor and Christian are more than a wedding. They are a new dawn. And Spain, ever watchful, now embraces a love story that may change monarchy forever.